loved about his confidence. He didn't even make eye contact with a camera. He's like, we're not worried about no play-in game. He shouldn't be worried about the play-in game. Lakers, y'all shouldn't be worried about a play-in game. Why? Because first off, even if you play the Warriors as the 8th seed, you're 2-1 against them this year, so better odds of beating them than losing to them. Then say somehow, some way, you'll stumble into a loss against the Warriors, and you got to play the Grizzlies or play the Spurs. You're 5-1 combined against the Grizzlies and Spurs. 7-2 against the Grizzlies, Spurs, and Warriors. So even if you do find yourselves in the play-in game against the Warriors, you're going to beat them. If you don't, you got the Spurs and the Grizzlies, you're going to beat them. But here's the biggest thing about all of this. Anthony Davis is back. And if Anthony Davis is back like he said he was, 35, 10, and 5 back-to-back games, first time in the last 50 years, Elgin Baylor was the last person to do that, then the Lakers have nothing to worry about. So, Alex Caruso, keep writing those checks with your mouth because everybody else on your squad can cash them. Now, Slick Rick and my big brother are back with us. So, Slick, you up first. How worried should the Lakers be about a play-in game?
I'm not going to say worried. What did I say at the top of the show? Cautiously optimistic. I just can't say it with my chest the way that you are, E. I agree with you. They're in a good position. When I look at the 3 potential opponents that they would have in a play-in game, the Golden State Warriors, the Memphis Grizzlies, or the San Antonio Spurs, none of those, because as much as we think about them being offensive teams because of what Steph Curry is doing and what Ja Morant is in particular and what DeMar DeRozan is capable of, the reality is that they are better defensive teams than they are offensive teams if you look at where they're ranked in offensive efficiency. And as we know, the Lakers are the #1 dog and have been no matter what, no matter who is suited up through the course of this season. So if it's defense versus defense, as far as strength is concerned, the Lakers have the advantage. And as we know, that carries more often than not in the postseason. So no, they have no concern. I'm cautiously optimistic that whoever they should face when it comes to the play-in games, that they will survive and move on.
Slick, I don't get why you have so much caution in your life. Can you remove the yellow tape, please? Like, Steph Curry might, maybe, be able to drop, a 50-piece against the Lakers. We saw him do it last game against the Thunder. That's the only reason I might be like, uh-oh, wait a second. But Curry's not dropping a 50-piece against the Lakers, not in my opinion. Devin Booker, we know he gets buckets. He made 5 field goals yesterday on 5 of 14 shooting. Now, I'm not going to accredit all of that to the Lakers defense, but you know, Slick, and you always come out here and preach it. The Lakers are still a competent basketball team, even without LeBron, because they are just as good on defense with the squad that they put out on the court, because they also play with a lot of energy and a lot of effort, regardless of the names on the back of the jersey. So where does your caution come from? Is it the Warriors? Is it just Steph Curry? Where is the caution?
No, the caution is with the Los Angeles Lakers, because the Los Angeles Lakers are facing a play-in game. The reality is they haven't been good consistently throughout the season, regardless of whether injury or apathy or whatever it might be, or simply the pieces that they added last summer don't fit as well as the pieces that they had going into the bubble last year. And for all those reasons, that's where my caution comes in. Am I seeing LeBron James on the floor? No. Was I impressed the last time I saw him on the floor hampered? No. Anthony Davis, has he given me 2 stellar performances in a row? Yes. Did I need him to have a stellar performance in a big game against the Portland Trailblazers to win the tiebreaker and didn't see it? Yes. So for all those reasons, it has less to do with who they're playing and more to do with the Lakers have just demonstrated to me that I'm not sure who they are. But to immediately stamp them as the same team that won in the bubble, I simply can't do that because there are so many elements here that are different.
Okay, Sam, what you think? I know growing up you were a resident Spurs fan, surprisingly, even though we grew up in Dallas. Make that make sense. But how worried should the Lakers be about the play-in game?
Well, the Lakers definitely should be worried because they're injured and they're aging. So number one, the Lakers are the number 2 oldest roster. They have the second oldest roster in the NBA. So that's number one. And number two, look at the bubble, right? So yes, they won the NBA championship. They only had 2 months off. The oldest team only having 2 months off. That's why you've seen LeBron miss 24 out of the last 26 games. That's why you see Anthony Davis kind of struggle. LeBron is limping. And so, no, I'm not necessarily worried about Golden State or Memphis. Yes, I believe that even in a playoff game that the Lakers will win and will make it, but they are struggling. Most NBA teams, you want to be the number 1 seed, number 2 seed. You want to sweep and you want to rest. But let's not forget, with this new play-in tournament that we're talking about, there's a 6-day rest for those teams that aren't in it, from March 16th to March 22nd. And so LeBron, who usually loves to rest, is going to have to either be playing or his team is going to be playing during that play-in game.
So you're not so much worried about the actual play-in game itself, but the repercussions of the play-in game. I do think that's the bigger story that people aren't talking about. Like, that's what Caruso was alluding to. He was like, nobody who's actually in the playoffs wants to play in the play-in game. However, if we have to play in the play-in game, we're not scared. But the disconnect is this. If you do make a LeBron, an Anthony Davis, a Kuzma, a Schroeder, if you do make them come back and have to play in the play-in game, what will that mean, at least for LeBron's health in the playoffs? He clearly is not 100%. Because if he was 100%, he would be playing right now. So now you have to rush him back to play, even though he's not 100%, just to qualify for a playoff game. I understand where you're getting at with that. So do you think that the play-in game will be a detriment to the health of the Lakers going forward?
Absolutely, without a doubt. No one wants to play extra games. We heard Alex Caruso just say it. He said, I don't want to play. The entire Lakers doesn't want to play in this play-in game. But they know that they have to. They're going to win, but we don't want to be in there. The cost of winning. There's sometimes things come with a cost. Winning and losing comes with a cost. The cost of you winning is going to be maybe some injuries. Now, you got to win early so you can be the 6th seed and maybe not have to play in the play-in game. But if you don't win now, it's going to cost you later. It's going to cost you with wear, tear, and injury.
Slick, let me ask you this. Would you run the risk of not playing LeBron James in the play-in game, especially seeing how good Anthony Davis has been playing, how good the squad just played yesterday? Would you run the risk of preserving LeBron's health so you can make a legitimized playoff push? Or would you play LeBron in the play-in game, have him go from 0 to 100, not playing at all, to the most important game thus far of the season? Would you either play LeBron in the play-in game, or would you sit him and just trust that AD can get you to the playoffs and let LeBron get another week of health?
Did you just bring in a body double for the Emmanuel Opcho that started the show? Because I seem to remember him talking about the Lakers playoff experience. It was this great monologue right at the top of the show about they got nothing to worry about because of their playoff experience. And I think LeBron James was mentioned prominently in that.
Yes.
LeBron James is the difference maker for me. Shall we look at what the Lakers' overall record is with Anthony Davis since he came back?
Okay.
And has been supposedly the leader of this team without LeBron James? I don't think you want to look at that. We don't need the full screen.
That is a question, though, Slick. The question is this. Knowing that LeBron James is a difference maker, come the playoffs, I said at the beginning of the show, not the play-in, the playoffs. Knowing that LeBron James is a difference maker, would you risk playing LeBron James in a play-in game where he would have to go from sitting on his couch or really sitting on the bench to now having to play his guts out? Or would you just say, hey, I trust we can get here without LeBron. Let's give LeBron this additional week of rest because we know how paramount LeBron James is to our overall success. What's your move?
If there was with a lot of other players, maybe I wouldn't. But LeBron James, there's no one better at managing himself when it comes to how he's going to play and what he's going to do in order to protect his health. So simply having him on the floor because of what he means to them offensively overall. And if I look at Anthony Davis's overall playoff record and when he is the best player on the team, it's not overwhelming. And so I can't be I can't be assumptive and say, I'm going to get to the playoffs without LeBron James in one game. I need to make sure that I get there first. And I believe that LeBron has the understanding and the capability to know exactly how hard he can go. He's not going to be 100%. We know that, right? But for a play-in game, for a must-win situation, for these Lakers, I will take a LeBron James who is, say, 90% healthy and plays at an 80% level than to go with no LeBron James at all.
Sounds like the Lakers have some decisions to make. Well, speaking of making decisions, Tom Brady, he's been voicing his opinion